We love telling stories on our program, and ordinarily we talk about what's considered virtually the major sports. You got football. Everybody talks that, knows that. We're glad to do it. Basketball, baseball. We love telling fishing stories on our program, literally.
Absolutely. I got a chance to catch up with the Tuscaloosa County High School Bass Fishing Team. Fascinating experience. I didn't know a lot about the sport. That's governed differently. They have sponsorships, but these guys are really serious about fishing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. Let's start out by each of you tell me how you were first exposed to fishing.
You can go. Okay, so, my dad fished a lot when he was my age, and once I got about 7, he started going out a lot, fishing.
And my dad, I grew up fishing with him, and we moved to a house with a pond behind our house, and I started catching some bluegill and stuff, and then got into bass fishing, and I started fishing every day. So.
Yeah, my dad, when I was young, really young, before I could even remember really, he'd just take me out in the boat, he'd drag me even if I didn't want to go, and I got to where I just loved going.
My grandfather crappie fished, so I went with him a lot. And my brother Preston, he was on the fishing team. He ended up bass fishing. He took me a couple times, and I just loved it, so I've been fishing ever since.
Okay, well, a lot of people don't know about high school bass fishing teams and how the competitions are structured. I understand that you have 12 teams, so tell me a little bit about how the competitions and the teams are structured.
Usually there's like local tournaments, and then there's bigger tournaments. The bigger tournaments can have up to like 300 boats, and so you're competing it's you and your partner against 3 other people with their partners, and then you have your school as a whole who has 6-man teams who can, like if you all 3 do good, then you can win 6-man team, which is also a good accomplishment. And then the local tournaments are like around 100 boats, and they're like just kind of like more for fun in my opinion, but they also give good money and stuff.
So how many tournaments would there be in a typical season?
I'd say like 15?
It depends on
15.
which trails you fish,
Yeah.
what your school associates with, stuff like that.
Okay, so maybe different for different schools. Okay, so you can actually win money?
You can.
Scholarship money.
Scholarship money. Okay, great. Have you guys won some scholarship money?
Yes.
I guess we have to.
I don't really know.
Not yet. Well, tell me about what kinds of technology you can use and what kinds of technology maybe you can't use.
Well, so a lot of boats, you'll have your graphs that you find your fish with, or see structure on the bottom. You can have, just trolling motors help you out going everywhere.
Yeah, and as far as what you can't use, there's not really much you can't use, but like you're not allowed to use live bait. Your captain can't fish. You have to run the trolling motor. But as far as like what you can use, I guess anything that you can use to your advantage that's not like cheating or anything. You can't use a guide. Like you have to find your own fish. So.
Does the equipment, the boat, everything belong to the school, or is it stuff that you guys own personally?
We own
it personally.
Okay, I understand that you guys recently won the Alabama Bass Nation Regional at Lake Wheeler. Tell me how that feels.
Out of 190 boats, we won. So we're just really blessed to win. We're going to keep on going and see what we can do and win the other tournaments and stuff.
Good. So what tournaments are coming up next? What's next for your team?
We're kind of in off season right now, but we have one in February, and then March we have one almost every weekend. So.
Do you guys compete outside of school, or do you mainly focus all your competition on your school team?
Me and my dad will fish in some tournaments together, but other than that, it's just school.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun stuff. Some weekends will be off, and something will come up at a local lake or something, and we'll just decide to go down there just to have some fun on the weekend.
How do you guys plan to continue fishing competitively? Do you plan to continue fishing competitively after high school?
I definitely do. I plan on going to UA, and they have a pretty good fishing team. All of the Alabama, like UNA, Auburn, they all have good fishing teams. And I'll probably go into collegiate bass fishing and see what we can do. And they also give scholarships, so maybe I can get one of those.
Since I'm a senior, I'm gonna try and get a welding, CTE, or civil engineering degree. So I'm gonna try and go to that.
You plan to still fish though?
I'm gonna try to, as much as possible.
It's still pretty early. I'm only in 9th grade, so I guess it just depends on how it plays out for the next couple of years. If I get scholarships, if it's somewhere I want to go that doesn't have a fishing team, then I guess that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's the same way what he said. I'm only in 9th grade. I don't know how it's going to go after I graduate. So we'll just see how it turns out.
But you all love to fish, so it's something you can do the rest of your life.
Yes, ma'am.
I see all these sponsors all over your jerseys. Tell me a little bit about what that's about. How does that work?
Sponsors definitely a lot more than some other things help support the team, and sometimes even the boats, the equipment, stuff like that. Scholarships a lot. Just guys that want to be out there because they know that the team can do something good.
Yeah, they pay for like hotels, gas for the boat, gas for the truck. Also, we get like I think usually $100 to like for food and stuff. So like sponsors, like fishing is one of the most expensive sports. So without sponsors, it's really not possible for unless you're loaded. So
Tell me what's your favorite thing about fishing?
honestly, like as soon as blast off hits and you're going 75 down the lake, there's just something about that feeling that you can't beat it. It's awesome. Your adrenaline's pumping.
I mean, going out there and not knowing what to expect, it's probably one of the best feelings.
I like just being able to compete with other schools, but also being able to compete with the guys in our own team too.
I mean, I just like, again, what he said, whenever you take off, you just got that rush of excitement, and you never know what to expect. You could come back winning, you could come back not catching a fish, just about your good days that you have.
Well, thank you so much. Good luck with future seasons and with fishing in general.
Nice job. Did you learn a lot?
I sure did. Super interesting. I think I'm about ready to go get a bass boat and be out there with those guys in the spring.
Bet we can find somebody to sell you one. No problem at all.